Shaun King came on here and dropped a bomb on me, like the Gap Band type bomb. When he said Nikola Jokic is not the best player in the world. And, you know, we teased you a little because we didn't have him name who he thinks is. So now, Shaun King, the floor is yours. Who is the best player in the world and why?
There isn't one, Chris. There's a group of guys that are competing to establish themselves as that person. Let's go back, because people have revisionist history. They like to look at things and say that they said this or said that. In 21, it was Giannis after the Bucks won. Then in 22, it was Steph Curry after they won.
No.
And then it was Joker.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. And
it
now
wasn't
Jason,
Steph.
now Jason
Who
Tatum
thought Steph
and
was
Boston.
the best player? Hold on. What?
No,
nobody thinks Jason Tatum's the best player in the world, especially Steve Kerr.
I didn't say that.
Nobody was saying in 22 Steph was the best player in the world.
I didn't say that.
They're the best player on the championship team. What I'm
saying is the last 4 years we've had 4 different title teams that all have players who, to me, should be considered in the group that's competing to be the best player in the world. When I watch Joker, I see a extremely skilled big that probably fits with almost every team in the NBA, but I don't walk away from the game thinking I just watched the best basketball player in the world. That's all I'm saying. I don't feel like he should get that title and be anointed that perch and be able to sit in the on the Iron Throne just quite yet. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, stand up. De'Aaron Fox, stand up. Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards. I want these guys to stand up and compete.
You cannot come on these airwaves. Shout out to De'Aaron Fox, as he is a great player. De'Aaron Fox, Mama Fox, Papa Fox, they don't think he's the best player in the world. So will you stop it?
I simply
you
grouped him.
Up your argument
I grouped
when you
him.
Put Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Steph Curry at 35 years old in the discussion.
Hey, listen, all I'm saying is it's up for grabs. And all of those guys,
You think somebody has to lead a dynasty to be the best player in the world?
No,
that sounds like it.
I'm also not going to diminish the fact that I think if De'Aaron Fox goes out and elevates next year, he could be considered, best player in the world. Same thing with Jason Tatum. If he takes this disrespect that he's gotten so far this Olympic team and works on a back-to-the-basket game on the block like Kobe and Jordan had, Jason Tatum almost be unstoppable. Like, these guys aren't that far away, and I'm saying Joker, to me, hadn't separated himself in such a way where he's the unquestioned best player in the world. I didn't even mention Luka.
All right, let me say this to you first of all, because we could do the whole show on this, because you dropping so many just doozies that they demand a reply. De'Aaron Fox, again, shout out D Fox, you nice. You know how tall De'Aaron Fox is?
Doesn't matter.
How tall is De'Aaron Fox?
He's taller than Steph.
6'3".
He's taller than Steph.
6'3".
Right.
Is there any point in the history of the NBA that a player 6'3" or shorter has been the best player in the world?
Is that Allen Iverson online?
He wasn't.
Allen not taller than 6'3".
Allen was never the best player in the world. Who?
I say he's not taller than 6'3".
He wasn't never the best player in the world either.
There was a stretch there where he was in the conversation. Jordan had gotten old. Kobe was still young.
No.
Yeah.
Iverson and Kobe came in the same year. I get it. Iverson was older.
Yeah, but Iverson was older.
You ever heard of Shaq? Ever heard of Tim Duncan?
Yeah. See the conversation.
Because it was Jordan until he retired in 98.
Yeah.
And then it became Shaq and Duncan.
The year AI took the Sixers to the NBA Finals.
He wasn't the best player in the world.
There were people that would argue with you that AI...
Fanboys.
Yes.
I mean, really, fanboys. There are people saying Paul George is the GOAT. I mean, you can always find somebody to say something. And it's not a slight on Iverson.
Don't even think he's the GOAT. Come
Steph
on.
Curry was never the best player.
Steph
Curry was never the best player in the world. LeBron was at that time.
You can make an argument that Steph Curry has had the biggest impact on the game of basketball as any NBA player ever.
That don't mean you're the best player. I agree. So now is Steph in the GOAT conversation? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Isaiah Thomas, the legend, was never the. Even when Isaiah went back to back,
was never as good as
he
Steph
wasn't
Curry.
the best player in the world.
Isaiah was never as good as Steph Curry. Ever. And I'm not knocking Isaiah.
We need to just scrap the whole show.
I'm not knocking Isaiah.
I got some teaching to do.
Isaiah Thomas was never as good as Steph Curry. That's why they left him off.
Isaiah Thomas was the best small player in the world.
Yes, that's why they left him off the 92 Dream Team, Chris.
Yeah, that was a travesty. He was the best small player in the world or ever until Steph. He's the second best small player ever. And he wasn't the best player in the world. That's my, like, I'm just saying, don't bring up De'Aaron. De'Aaron Fox is saying, don't bring me up, bro.
Hey, using his motivation, De'Aaron.
You didn't even give an answer. You can't come on here with there ain't one.
I said there isn't one.
You better give me a name.
Hey,
a real name.
At times, there just isn't one. I'm not sure
Derek White's name ain't coming out of your mouth in the next 10 seconds.
See, now you're taking something and you're making it something that it isn't. At the same time, can you acknowledge with me that just because there are conversations about who's the best player doesn't mean that there always is a best player.
I agree with that. But
I'm saying is, as LeBron has gotten older, as KD has gotten injured more, they're still top 10, but I don't know that I've ever felt watching Joker like I felt watching KD or Bron in their prime. And I use them because they're the two most recent.
We're going to have to get back to that because I just can't let this sit with you putting this nonsense on the airwaves. So I really could talk NBA with you all day because you just throwing out.
I appreciate that compliment.
Madness.
Let me one last thing. I just want you to. I want this to simmer in your soul, and I want you to think about this. When you watch Nikola Jokic, do you ever feel like you're watching the best basketball player in the world? It's not a knock on Jokic.
Yeah,
it's not saying he's not a great player.
Yeah,
I don't get that feeling when I watch him. I just feel like I'm watching a really good basketball player.
Yeah, nah. Your feelings, that might be something you ate for dinner that night, but that boy's bad, and I feel that way when I watch him. But we'll get to that later. All right, Shaun. Nikola Jokic, here, I do believe he's the best player in the world. I believe he is the first point. Here's some of the reasons. He's the first point center ever. We've heard of point forwards. He's a legitimate point center. Plays the point, brings the ball up on the perimeter a lot, but when he needs to, he'll back you down. Unlike a Joel Embiid, he'll back you down in the post and score over you. He basically plays every position because he plays point guard. He obviously plays center. He shoots it like a two guard or a small forward. He can hit the three. He can hit the mid range. He's arguably, I think LeBron's probably a better passer, but you can argue he's the best passer in the game. He's certainly the best, I think, big man passer in the game. He is a walking triple-double threat, not for a game, for a season. Every year for a season. He's won 3 of the last 4 MVPs. He did not have anything close to a super team when they won that championship. His second best player, Jamal Murray, has never even been an all-star. And in these playoffs was banged up and not healthy. I will give you that Murray is an all-star caliber player, but the fact is he's never been an all-star. Virtually none of his teammates were all-stars. Aaron Gordon was not an all-star. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Michael Porter Jr., and yet he was able to win a championship. He clearly makes his teammates better. He's not a lockdown defender, but because of his size and intelligence, he's a good defender. He's like you can't expose him. It's not a weakness. His analytic numbers defensively are always around the top of the league. I'm not saying he's a great all-league defender, but it's not a weakness of his. And so, I don't know what, he's, to me, when you watch him, for those that didn't see a Larry Bird, that's how, because people probably look at Bird, I mean, this slow white dude, couldn't jump, wasn't quick. He couldn't have been that good. And that's an indictment on the 80s that this dude was so dominant. No, watch Nikola Jokic. That's how Bird was. Nikola doesn't dominate the rock, Shaun. He touches it virtually every possession, but he's getting rid of it quickly. He's getting it to the right man. Everybody's getting involved.
He's not Luka just holding it, isolating.
No, and I don't. That's a weakness to me. I think that was a weakness for LeBron throughout his prime because it takes away from your other teammates that can do stuff on their own. And so those are reasons I think he's the best. And I could argue against some of the guys you might name.
And here's my thing. I think two things can be right. I don't want to turn this into I don't like Jokic's game. I love Jokic's game. I think he's probably one of the most skilled big men we've ever seen. You talked about him dancing around a triple-double for the season. Hell, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double over a season. And I never watched one of those games and said, I'm looking at the best player in the world.
You talking about Westbrook?
Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, no. I mean, it's not just stats.
So that's what I'm saying. So,
but that's like if I say he won 3 of the last 4 MVPs. It's like you saying, well, Steve Nash won an MVP. That he never was the best player in the world. I'm just giving you, it's an accolade.
Right, yes. And that's
an
what
accomplishment.
I say, two things can be true. But I also don't think there are a lot of American basketball fans that have watched Joker play and got the emotion they got from watching prime Bron, prime Kobe, prime Jordan.
But we're not talking about excitement. Yeah, of
we're
course, those players.
No,
he's
we're
not
talking about excitement. He's
not quick.
But we're talking about.
But they're more exciting players.
Yes, but we're also talking about the combination of everything you said plus that emotional attachment. Like I saw something otherworldly.
All of them didn't do everything Jokic does. Ain't none of them been point centers. Very few of them could do like in his prime, LeBron wasn't a knockdown 3-point shooter. And some of his prime, he wasn't a knockdown mid-range shooter. I don't think Joker's a knockdown
3-point shooter. I think he shoots the three good
Jokic?
For a big man.
He's a really.
He shoots it good for, but so does Embiid, and they criticize him for it. I'm not comparing
Embiid doesn't necessarily
Embiid
shoot the three
to
that well.
Jokic.
He shoots the mid-range great. He's
here's
not a
what
great
I'm saying, Chris.
shooter.
People throw that out there like, to me, it's without question, and I just disagree. I think it's up for grabs right now.
You can't give me an answer.
Because it's up for grabs.
You just going off emotion. You just going off, it don't feel right. I mean, what is that? That's why we play the games, because we can't go off feelings and emotions.
No, when you get nostalgic when you watch a great one. I don't get nostalgic when I watch Joker.
I don't know how you don't get. I don't know what you even talk about, but I mean, come on, the dude is bad, and I don't see a real weakness in his game, other than maybe be more assertive at times. But we'll get more into that. Keep it locked. Couple. Shaun King, who's in for Rob Parker, is into feelings, apparently. I didn't know. He's sensitive. He's into his feelings. And, when he watches an athlete, he wants that warm and fuzzy, feeling to just engulf him. So I get it. People are different.
I'm just saying, otherwise, then why be in the presence of greatness if you don't feel a differentiation emotionally from when you're just watching really good?
I'm just saying that, to me, how you personally feel is not an objective fact, or honestly, I don't think it's a legitimate point in a discussion, in a debate.
See,
if I'm debating somebody on the GOAT conversation,
it's such a rarefied
LeBron versus,
air.
But if I'm going as somebody with LeBron versus MJ, and I'm saying MJ is the GOAT. But man, look, I just felt when I watched Jordan, I just felt all fuzzy inside. I don't think that's a legitimate point. You can't, that is not, because he made the person I'm talking to or some other person or every other person on earth may not feel anything like I felt. It has to be objective stuff.
The separation to me when it comes to Jordan and LeBron, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that there was more coverage during LeBron's run than there was Jordan. So you didn't see all of Jordan's games. But emotionally, even when the Bulls lost, Jordan made you feel like he was the best ever. He was the best that night. His team just came up short. There were moments where LeBron shied away from taking the big shots. We watched him grow up right in front of us. He didn't go to college. So we saw him from right out of high school. And you don't ever forget those moments.
Now, those are facts other than Jordan made you feel like that. But to me, that doesn't – I can't bring
it's one and the same, though, Chris.
A fact fight.
It's one and the same.
No, it's not. Feelings have nothing to do with it. I might feel like I'm a Harvard graduate. I'm not. I might feel like I'm an ex-NBA player. I'm not. It's about the facts. But that's not even what I wanted to get into. I mean, we
Who's denying the facts? You're denying emotional attachment to sports, which is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
Everybody's got feelings. They can be completely different. I can't worry about feelings when I got to make my 12-man roster out of 50 players. I got to cut some people. I hate to do it. I'm sorry. Emotionally, I feel bad, but I got to go. I got to cut.
You're tripping. Because sports is emotion. Like, that's why when you go to a live sporting event, the arena is going crazy.
Why don't we pick champions then based on emotion?
No, but okay, you still got to go out.
Why don't we just pick the best team we think is the best?
See,
I mean, they used to do that in college football, and it was kind of a mess.
You're trying to isolate one point and make it big picture. When I'm saying it's a part of the entirety of me believing that someone is the best, greater than all of the others. I'm saying for me, it's more than just analytics, stats. It includes those things.
Nobody's saying it's just
you're
stats.
Trying to say it shouldn't include emotion.
It's accomplishments,
right?
Or accomplishments. It's the eye test. It's so many things. It's weaknesses and strengths. I get all that. But those things are measurable, objectively measurable for the most part. For the most part. Your feelings, Shaun, you could have a feeling that no one else on earth has. But I can't say a person's definitively the best player just based on feelings. And look, it's a debate. I mean, there is no list of the actual best players in the league. But I tell you what, when I'm voting all NBA team, I can't go by, you know what, I feel better when I watch.
He's definitely
Devin
an all
Booker
NBA caliber player. I'm not diminishing his eliteness. I'm saying,
but you have to make decisions when you pick an all NBA team. When you pick an all NBA team, you have to make a decision.
I think he's an all NBA player. It shouldn't be based
on subjectivity.
I think he's an all NBA player. I think subjectively, objectively, statistically, there's an argument on who is currently the greatest player in the game of basketball as we sit here about to be August of 2024. That's all I'm simply saying. I don't think it's cut and dry, black and white, that automatically it's Jokic.
Well, look, of course, that's fine. I mean, this is a subjective thing.
You say it like it's law.
Well, I mean, I think he's clearly the best. But
clearly?
I would like you to, because I'll say this. First of all, can we get Steph at 35, De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum out of it?
First of all, if it's no one, then that means it's wide open and it's a bunch of guys that are coming.
Not necessarily.
To me.
It could be no one and it be between three guys.
Listen, when Kansas City drafted Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith was a starting quarterback in Kansas City. Tom Brady was the unquestioned GOAT at the quarterback position. Currently, and as far as we could foresee into the future. Then all of a sudden, Alex Smith, I don't know if he got hurt or if they just played Mahomes.
They knew they were going to play
Mahomes comes in. And now look where we sit. But prior to that, nobody.
I don't understand what that has to do with it.
Because nobody thought Mahomes was the next coming. He was the one that was going to follow Brady and be on the way to play. So I'm saying you can't just kick De'Aaron Fox and some of these guys who are super talented who are on the way.
And I don't want to make this anti-De'Aaron Fox. He's a very good player.
You Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
You are putting De'Aaron Fox in the same.
Because you keep bringing him up.
You are putting De'Aaron. No, you brought him up. He does not belong in this conversation.
He was down the list after Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
You named about 4 dudes, and he was one of them. And come on, I mean, you can't. Shai, I don't think Shai's the best player in the world, but you can say Shai, and I'm not going to be like, what? De'Aaron Fox, I'm sorry, he's not in the best player in the world discussion. And don't put him in the same class as Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns and 5,200 yards his first season playing?
The context.
That's why we start saying, man, this dude one day might be the GOAT.
There was not that premeditated anointing of Patrick Mahomes.
There's not in basketball.
I didn't say
nobody
it was.
anointed Jokic. He's a second-round draft
I didn't
pick.
say anybody did. I didn't say anybody anointed Brady. He got it from the mud, too. 6th-round draft pick. Maybe if Bledsoe runs out of bounds, we don't even know Tom Brady. I don't know. Things happen. What I'm saying is I don't think right now Jokic is undeniably the best basketball player in the world. I'm not saying he's not one of the top
That's
3
fine,
or 5.
But you can't give me 20 guys. It's wide open. It ain't wide open. It is Jokic. I think
we're
it's
going to
Jokic,
reconvene at the All-Star break, and I bet there are some names in this conversation.
Hold on. Jokic, Giannis, Luka.
The only reason Giannis isn't the first name out of my mouth because he's coming off of being injured.
Well, I don't think that should take him out. He's still in his prime. He's still going to be, he's good. But
recency
I think
matters.
it's between Jokic, Luka, and Giannis. Those are only 3 guys, I think. If you want to throw Shea, you can throw Shea in there.
Yeah, Shea's a baller.
But,
by the way, shout out to the Clippers. Great job.
What? But it's not 20 names. So we're gonna talk about comparisons. Dream
You're gonna
team.
agree with me before the end of the show.
No, I'm not. Look, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to come off like anti this player. But no, I'm not gonna agree with you.
I bet there are a lot of people riding around, a lot of people at work,
thinking
listening to the Odd Couple that agree with me that Joker's not the unquestioned best player in the world. He's just not.
That's fine. I mean, I'm just saying
That's
when
all
you
I was
came
saying.
with the answer if there is none. I mean, come on.
I don't think there is. I think you make an argument for quite a few guys that are.
We can always
right
say
there
is none because I mean,
no,
really,
that's not true.
It is.
No,
true.
Kobe in his prime.
You could always. When was Kobe
the
best? When was Kobe the best player in the world?
That second run of championships with Bynum and Gasol.
It
in that
wasn't
group.
LeBron.
No, I thought it was Kobe at that point because LeBron hadn't won one yet.
Yeah, still, I think LeBron was the best.
Nah,
But that's fine.
LeBron's still in Cleveland. He had issues at that time.